Yo, it's back again, it's back again, it's back again. No, I'm joking. I said I was gonna come out with another video doing my predictions for the wild card weekend. And this is it. How y'all doing? Good afternoon. Good evening. No, I'm playing. For some of y'all that's on the other side of the world. I was gonna talk about another. Before I get into the wild card predictions, I was gonna talk about another good thing that I was right about, because I felt like I talked about three things I was wrong about, and only two things I was right about. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna limit it to 5. I was like, I'm gonna limit it to 5. The one thing about growing in this world, you got to be able to admit your faults and admit when you're wrong, and not always celebrate. Not celebrate. Celebrate is probably the wrong word, but not. It's good to look back at the things that you did wrong so you can improve. I'd rather do that than I'd rather do that. I'll leave it at that, because I never want to be content when I know I can grow in things. And I know, everyone's not perfect and all that. But if you know your motives, if you're doing it for self, and you know yourself, if you're doing it for self, it would help out the whole world. And with no intent, not selfishly trying to do it, then that's the best way to grow. Like, to do the job, you want to do the job. You want to do the job because, somebody has to do it. That type of thinking. And it's like, because if no one does the job not gonna get done. But all right, but I want to get to the playoff field. I gotta give me 1 second here. I want to look at the NFL picture. Give me 1 second. Okay. The first game I'm going to start with is literally the first game that's going to be playing on Saturday, which is the Rams versus the Carolina Panthers. Before I predict the winner, I'm going to talk about both teams. Well, the Rams were, before December hit, the Rams were considered as the clear-cut number one team in football. Having the MVP leader at the time. My thoughts on who I think is going to win the MVP now. I don't want to sound like a homer, but I still think it should be Drake May. But I think because of narrative, Stafford's going to win, because I think what the voters are going to do, they're going to cherish more of how he started. And I think the last week of the season helped them getting the 4 touchdowns, while Drake only had about 1 or 2. And he only played a half. It bothers me I think if you ask me, I think there should be a co-MVP this year. I think like we had in 2003 with Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. I think we should go back to that. I should say, I'm sorry. But I think that's the way because both quarterbacks have been amazing. And it's hard to, you can't go wrong with either one. But if I was a voter, I would vote for both of them so we can have a co-MVP. But that's just me. So Matthew Stafford having a great season, because and the team is a stacked team. They are flawed though. they are flawed, and the one position they're flawed in is cornerback. I As much as I like the pass rush, the front seven is amazing. They play their ass off, and we never thought after Aaron Donald leaves, we thought okay they were gonna fall off. They weren't gonna be a good defense. They actually are a good defense, but I do believe they do miss Ramsey because the cornerback play is inconsistent. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's inconsistent. Now let's go to Carolina. Carolina, has obviously gone under the radar, but Bryce Young having a bounce back season. Personally, a part of me thinks to get his true potential, he needs more weapons, obviously, and T-Mac. I think T-Mac is going to get Rookie of the Year. It would have been Mbuka, but he fell off after week 10 or something like that. When he got hurt, that's when he kind of lost the award. So I believe it's going to be T-Mac to win Rookie of the Year, because he's been amazing. He's been a revelation for them, and obviously the offense. There's times the offense could look pretty unstoppable. Not like the Rams though, and they played each other beforehand, and they played each other in Carolina, and the Rams lost that game because of the turnovers from Stafford having 3. And I have to say this for Carolina. Carolina doesn't fear them. And Carolina's defense, to me, is an underrated defense. But they're flawed because not the defense. The defense is to me, it's fine. The only flaw about Carolina, honestly, is experience. So this is gonna be Bryce Young's first playoff game. I hope he plays well. But if he just does the baseline game manages or play the way he's been playing throughout the whole season, I give them a puncher's chance. But I believe the main reason why they won early in the season was because of Matt Stafford's turnovers. So I'm gonna go with the Rams, and I'm gonna predict maybe a touchdown, maybe 2 touchdown lead. So 32 to 21. No, 21, 28, like around there. No. 32, 21. I'll go with a lip. At least between, like I said, a touchdown or a 2 touchdown lead. Between those numbers there, I'm going to go with that. The next game is the night game, which is Green Bay versus Chicago. I gotta first say this. I am rooting for the Bears. I am. Because I have so many friends that are Bear fans, and they've been starving for a playoff win for a long time, and that's why I root for them. But I gotta be objective here, and wow. I'm going to start off with Green Bay first. I'm going to start with the Green Bay offense. The Green Bay offense has been amazing this year. There's times they've been clunky because of, and I don't want to, I have to give him this blame, but because he deserves it. But the times when the offense hasn't looked good is mainly because of Jordan Love and his turnovers. But when he doesn't turn the ball over, we all know he's amazing. He's he has MVP talent, and I do believe he will win the MVP one day. So, and Jacobs, who I picked to lead the league in rushing. Unfortunately, he didn't get to do it. He was dealing with injuries throughout this whole year, but he's been playing. So, if you're on the field, no excuse. I was wrong about him not winning the rushing title. It went to Derrick Henry. I believe so. Yeah, it went to Derrick. I believe so. I'll look it up. But anyway, and obviously Jacobs is not gonna miss this game. That's their strength, their offense. So the only way I see the Packers winning this game, they gotta score at least in the 40s. It has to be a shootout to me. Because unfortunately, Green Bay's defense, without Michael Parsons, they got the Cowboys effect in the sense they don't. And I like the fact that they signed Diggs, but pick up Diggs a week, 2 weeks after he tears his ACL. I don't get it. Are they going to keep him? If they're going to keep Diggs beyond this season, then I understand. But we'll see. But I think, their defense, they're going to have to blitz a lot to generate a pass rush. And I'm a firm believer, if you have to blitz, damn my lips. But if you have to blitz, that means you can't generate a pass rush. If you have to blitz, like if you can't get pressure with a front four, and we saw what the Ravens did to them. Ran over them. Took their lunch money. So, all right. So I think that's their flaw. Green Bay's flaw is their defense, unfortunately. And I don't know how. Like I said, they're going to have to win the shootout. They're going to have to put up over 40 points to win this game. And I believe it's not going to come that way. So I'll take it on the other side with Chicago. Once again, they're living the same thing with the Packers. Great offense. While people are criticizing the way they played last week, it was the last week of the season. I still believe they're going to be fine offensively. The defense showed me something that they can bulk up because it is a divisional game. But usually the third time's a charm when you play a team. It's either you get a low-scoring game or you get a high-scoring game. And there is a couple of games that lives in the mean where, I think this game is not going to be a high-scoring game. To me, I think it's like if I had to pick an over, I would pick the over as over 44 points. Under 44 points, I'm sorry. Under 44 points with this game. And I think it might be snowing that day in Chicago. And we all know Chicago gets cold. So, anyway, the offense is the offense. The defense, on the other hand, while it does create turnovers, And I actually like the cornerback core. My issue with the Bears, though, is they don't generate a pass rush, and they were missing Stevens, and I don't think he's going to play. If he plays this week, then I think their defense will be back intact, and maybe they'll be able to bulk down. But I'm critical. I don't know what you're going to get from this defense if they can't generate a pass rush. And if I had to guess which team that I think can do it, come on, I would have to flip a coin. Maybe I would lean towards Green Bay, but I see them blitzing, trying to get to Caleb, while Caleb has shown he's been able to get out of pressure this whole year. So he hasn't been sacked much. He's been getting rid of the ball. So Caleb. So this game, it relies on which defense is gonna show up and show out. Not show out. Show out is too strong, but not bend. Don't break, but consistently bend. And I believe it will be the Chicago Bears to win this game. I said the over will be 44. I'm going to go 24-20 Chicago. Wow. I think the great sign that Chicago can do, passing the ball, they can get shredded. I do like their run defense. They're middle of the pack. And I'm sorry, seeing the way Green Bay played, that their defense got ran over by Derrick Henry. You know, he hit his career high. Monangai and Swift, I think they're going to control the game. And Caleb's gonna make timely plays, so I'm gonna go with Chicago, 24-20. Go Bears. And all right. Then we got obviously the Sunday game. The Sunday games got about 3 games. Obviously, the first game is the Bills versus the Jaguars. We know the deficiencies of the Bills is obviously great offense, great pass offense, but they can't stop the run. While they're playing in Jacksonville with a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence with a great offense and a great defense. I'm going to go with the Jaguars here. Nah, psych. I can't do it. I can't betray my season pick. I have to pick the Bills. I predict the Bills will go in and upset Jacksonville. They're not playing in inclement weather, and I can't go against my preseason pick. I gotta go with the Bills. And I believe, while Trevor, I realize pundits has been forgetting that Trevor has a playoff resume, and it's a good one. It's not a great one. It's a good one. Obviously, the comeback against the Chargers, and he did play well against the Chiefs. They just, the Chiefs were the dynasty, so they found ways to win that game. Even though it bothers me, there was a call in that game that bothered me. I don't want to. I'm gonna go on a long soliloquy if I get into it, but he played well in that playoff game. So the 2 playoff games he's had under his belt, he's played well, and I believe he will play well. I believe he'll play good, not well. I do believe he will turn the ball over. in this game once, and I think that's how that's how I got the Bills winning this game. I would pick 30-27 Bills. 30-27. And you know me, I'm a realist. If I'm wrong, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'm gonna have to finish this soon because you know your boy got to work soon. But all right, let's move along with the Eagles versus 49ers. I would talk about the flaws. We all know the flaws about the Eagles is their dormant. I'm gonna call it dormant offense because they shown periods of times to score the ball, and they've shown too many times to act like they're playing in the 1960s and they only gotta run the ball, and they act like they never heard of a pass game at times, and that bothers me with the Eagles. But everything else is legit. You know, the defense, the offensive line. The 49ers, while they have an excellent offense, their defense, without Fred Warner, without Nick Bosa, they're not a good defense. I'm sorry. Let's keep it all the way on it. It's not a good defense. And because of this, and because of the Eagles' defense, and they're playing in Philly, I'm going to go with Philly. Philly is going to keep them under 21. They're going to keep them under 21 points. I see a score of 24-14 Eagles. Wow. If they were in Santa Clara, I would think it would be a higher scoring game. But they're in Philly. That's the only reason why I'm keeping the score under 14. And we all know the Eagles are a tremendous defense, and they're gonna bulk up again. And I'm sorry, seeing the way that Seattle game bothered me, the way Brock Purdy played. But I digress. They had a chance to win the division too, so we can't act hypocritical. And then the night game on Sunday, the Pats versus the Chargers. I'm obviously going with the Pats, obviously. Wow, I was in a bar, and I did say, but this was before the playoff seasons happened. I got to be real with y'all. I thought that the Chargers wouldn't be the 7th seed, but they are. And I thought they were going to be playing. I thought they would be playing the Jaguars. Personally, I thought it was going to be a rematch between the Jaguars. But hey, I digress. They ended up here in this spot, so now they got to play my Patriots. And while everyone, I think with this defense, there's a mystique with the Chargers defense that people are imposing on it that, for me, I don't buy. I don't buy it too much. And seeing the way they played against Denver, and even the week before, to me they're torturable. And I believe the MVP, my MVP, I should say, my MVP pick, Drake May, in his first playoff game, played well. Obviously, we're getting our pieces back with like Will Campbell. You know, our offensive line will be back intact. Josh McDaniels, you know how he is in the playoffs. I already know what to expect. And this is the Chargers. So the Chargers are going to keep charging. And I believe he'll lose another playoff game. He'll go down 0-3. And Drake, even though I think Drake might turn the ball over one time, he'll be able to come back. My score with this game is 30-17 Patriots. And it's going to be cold in Foxborough. And obviously the night game, Steelers versus the Texans. This game, to me, by far was the hardest one to pick. I had to flip 3 coins at the same time to get it. No, I'm joking. But I had to flip a coin on this one. Wow. Everyone's excited. And there's some people saying that the Steelers can make a run. And like I said, I admitted yesterday that I was wrong about Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, he's coming back. I have to say pump the brakes. I'm going with Houston. It's going to be low scoring. And I think it actually favors the best defense in the land, the Houston Texans. Wow. Aaron Rodgers is able to carve up the Ravens. I'm sorry, the Ravens defense isn't Houston's. Houston can actually generate a pass rush with only sending 4 guys. And that's what kept ringing in my head. Wow, the Steelers defense, I thought it was going to be a top 5 defense. It wasn't this year. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And they didn't show up. And like the misassignments that they had last week bothered me. And we all know Houston could cash in, and C.J. Stroud has a playoff record too. He played well in one game. He was decent, and he was okay in another. In 2, I should say. Because of the 2 Baltimore's, you know. And obviously the win against the Chargers. But I digress. And, you know, the Chiefs game, he played well. And he played good enough. It was a duel. I don't want to ramble because I got to leave soon. But I'm going with Houston. A score of 20-17. It's going to be low scoring because, yeah, I do. The weather is going to be implemented. No. I have to think about that. I didn't really think about the score. I was throwing up a number. Maybe it'd be under 37. That's what my mind is thinking. No, I think Houston's going to score. I don't like Houston's offense, though. That's my only issue. I'm going to go 24-17. Houston. I did say 20, but I think they're going to get a field goal at the end to make it 7, and then, you know, on the final drive, they're going to stop Aaron Rodgers. Deuces. Have a good day, y'all.